To our residential standard plan with fire sprinkler workshop. We will start with an introduction of our presenters today. There's myself, I'm Shannon McEwen, Manager of Building Permits, and I manage the customer service, addressing, and the intake and issuance of building permits. Also with us, we have Ryan Watanabe, Building Permit Specialist, and he is in our plan submittal work group, so our application intake. We have Terry Kozlowski. She's our Manager of Plans Exam, and she manages the commercial and residential plans examiners. We have Hal. He's our fire plans checker, and he reviews plans for the fire prevention work group. We have Maria Caseco. She's Assistant Planning Manager in the zoning division, and she manages the review for Title 30 development codes. We have Ray Jones. She's our Senior Engineer Architect, and she specializes in the structural engineering work group. Emily Bernard, she is the Supervising Building Permit Specialist over the Permit Issuance work group. Matt Brewer, he manages our inspections team. And then we have Ava, our Management Assistant. She helps us with a variety of duties, including keeping us together and putting together this workshop and organizing it for us. So with that, just to start, I'd like to share a little general information about today's workshop. We're really going to focus and have an emphasis on fire sprinklers and how they are merged now into the standard plan workshop. We had a previous workshop back in October of 24 on residential standard plans that went into full detail of the residential standard plan process and how that works. And it just mentioned fire sprinklers and then being merged into this process, but really didn't go into a lot of detail. And so that's what we're really emphasizing today. But you're welcome to go on to our YouTube channel and watch that workshop that we did in October at youtube.com at CCBD live workshops, like shown on the slide here. And then also, watch for future monthly live workshops. We're going to have various topics. We hold them once a month. They're on the front page of our website. If you go to our website, clarkcountynb.gov, go to the building department, it says live workshops right at the top. Just click on that and it will show you all the live workshops we have previously held and ones planned for the future. So what is a residential standard plan? Residential standard plans are used for single family homes and townhome models, and it's where you have multiple models that are going to be built in a subdivision, and all of the plans for each model are going to get submitted under one application number, which is a 43 number, and they'll be reviewed all at the same time. And then once they're reviewed, there'll be a step 2 that is reviewed by zoning with the recordation of the final map. And then a step 3 will be submitted and permitted for each individual lot. But all of the reviews are just done under one number. So the benefits of that is all the plans are reviewed by the same plans examiner at one time. And the plans can be approved prior to a final map recordation, where if you have a custom home, in order for the plan review to be approved, that final map has to be recorded as a Title 30 requirement. And then now, of course, we have fire sprinkler permits, which are combined in this process, similar to the electrical, mechanical, and plumbing sub-permits. So some of the limits to keep in mind on the residential standard plans is that options cannot exceed 10% of the total square footage. And some of those options could be fireplaces, balconies, media niches, patio covers, additional second floor area where it was previously a second floor area, but it was shown as open, and then they're gonna, turn it in, have an option to have a bedroom in that open floor area. That's not considered an option when applying for the 10% restriction above. There can be no more than 2 options per plan, and you cannot add options or square footage through a revision. They can be added during the review with a proper coordination before you have approval of that 43 and 53 numbers. Just talk to your plans examiners about that and the submittal team, and they'll help you through it. Also, you cannot add additional levels above or below as options. Those require a separate model plan and footprint. If during plan review you have that situation and we determine that you need a separate 53 number, we can get that for you. But once that 43 number and 53 number have been approved, then it would be a separate submittal for a 43 number for that type of option. So fire sprinklers now included, and similar to the mechanical, electrical, plumbing sub-permits, are for, like I said, the single family models and townhomes, but this is not included in condos or apartment standard plans. I understand condos and apartments are considered dwelling units. However, we have not done the programming for that process. Those condos and apartments do go through a different type of process than the single family residential homes and townhomes. Not to say that we won't combine them in the future, but right now it's just not a capability. So when you're submitting fire sprinklers with the residential standard plans, there's two ways that you can submit them: as a submitted option or a deferred option. When you're submitting it as a submitted option, you're going to actually submit your fire sprinkler plans, documents, and calculations with your architecturals, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, structural, everything that you would submit normally underneath your 43 number application. But if you're not ready to submit those fire sprinkler plans and required documents that go along with it, you'll be able to have the option to select deferred. And in that case scenario, you will submit it as a revision after the 43 and 53 numbers are approved. So what will happen is when you submit under the submitted option, you'll have a required document where you have to submit the fire sprinkler plans. But if you select deferred, you won't be required to submit those at the time. So something I wanted to talk about a little bit is code. We've been receiving a lot of questions about code because right now we're under the 2018 building codes, but soon we're going to be adopting the 2024 codes. Some things to keep in mind: under the 2018 codes, our current codes, if a tentative map was approved prior to March 6, 2024, fire sprinklers may or may not be required. So if you know they're not required, then you'll select in your application that you have an approved map prior to March 6th and you'll select NA. If approved after March 6, 2024, then fire sprinklers are definitely required. Fire prevention, we'll talk a little bit more about this detail in a future slide coming up soon. As far as the 2024 codes, we're looking for it to be adopted July next month, but it won't be effective and required for that code to be submitted until January. I think it looks like it's going to be January 11th or 15th. But we'll find out more once it's adopted, and we will have a notice of industry put on our website that gives all the detailed information about that. When we do adopt those 2024 codes and they become effective, fire sprinklers are going to be required regardless of the tentative map approval date. So that will be a significant change there. When we do this, we do have a plan to allow standard plans already submitted under the 2018 building codes to remain under there once the 2024 codes become effective, if there's 100 lots or less left in that subdivision. All other residential standard plans will need to resubmit under the 2024 family of codes. But like I said, all of those details will be defined and spelled out in our notice of industry that will be coming soon. Just as a note, we have adopted the 2021 IECC code into the 2018 family of codes. I believe that happened in 2023. So when we talk about the 2018 codes that we're currently under, that includes the 2021 IECC, not the 2018. Just a couple special considerations to be aware of. Fire sprinklers cannot be added to the original 43 application until after it's been accepted and it's under review, until they're fully approved, because the scripting and special programming that we have will not work correctly then. So if you say you're deferring in that option in your submittal, you just can't say, hey, I'm ready, I have the fire sprinkler plans, when that 43 is still under review, and submit them. It's kind of a closed down situation now, the way the programming works, that you'll just have to wait till they're approved and submitted as a revision. So keep that in mind. Also, fire sprinklers cannot be added to the 43 numbers if they were submitted prior to April 22nd, 2024. That's when we did that special programming and scripting for it to work correctly. Anything that was before that wasn't programmed, so keep that in mind as well. We already went over the tentative map approval dates and the 2018 codes, but again, just something to keep in mind there. And then when selecting submitted option at the standard plan SFR model application only, the fire sprinkler plan document and plans will be required, along with all the other documents that are required with the residential standard plans. But it doesn't say sprinkler spec sheets and hydraulic calculations are required. However, you still need to upload those, even though it's not listed as required. So keep that in mind. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Ryan in our plan submittal work group, and he's going to talk to you some more about what they need to see.
Thank you, Shannon. My name is Ryan. I work in the submittal work group. Um, when applying for standard plans, we require a complete checklist and hourly plan review application form, which may be found on our website in the plan submittal services section. When completing the checklist, please be sure to provide model information that matches the plans exactly and provide approved utility plans for fire prevention approval. On a side note, the checklist is being updated to include fire sprinklers, so just be patient with us. We are getting that checklist updated. Moving forward, along with completing a checklist, an hourly form must also be completed and uploaded. Plan review fees are not charged upfront like normal applications. Instead, you'll complete an hourly plan review application form. Plan review fees for this permit type are based on hourly rate as defined in the Clark County Building Administrative Code. A link will be provided at the end of the workshop to access the administrative codes. Next slide. Once your forms are complete and you are ready to apply, you log in, apply for permit, look for the standard plan permit type. When you click to expand the standard plan permit type, there will be several options, and the SFR model plan is the one to select. At any time during your submittal process, you would like step-by-step written instructions, you may visit the website under the Citizens Access Knowledge Base section. As you are completing the online portal questions and inputting your information, there will be a section labeled Plan Information. Within this section, it will ask if fire sprinkler plans will be submitted, and it shall be marked yes, unless your tentative map was approved before March 6, 2024. Also, there will be a question if the fire sprinkler plans will be submitted or deferred at this time. Once a selection is made, you may continue. Once you have reached the step to upload all your plans, files, and/or documents, you will see either 11 required files or 10 required files, depending if the fire sprinklers were selected to be submitted or deferred at this time. Lastly, for submittal, I just want to go over some quick information about resites. Resites are previously approved models in a new or existing subdivision. Zoning approval should be obtained prior to applying for the resite, and you will be required to include their approval date on the checklist and upload the approval email. Once you have obtained zoning approval, you will follow the same steps and apply for the standard plan SFR model permit type and begin uploading your plans and documents as outlined on the checklist. Resites get new 43 and 53 numbers, and either a new Step 2 subdivision plan or the new 43 will be related to an existing Step 2 subdivision plan. Again, plan submittal staff will review the application for incomplete or missing items or accept for review if everything is good. Please note, adjacent parcel resites are not processed by submittal. They are submitted as a revision to the existing 43 number, and you must still obtain zoning approval prior to submitting. If you need assistance with an application or have questions about permit types, requirements, or anything submittal related, please contact our plan submittal team at eplansubmittal@clarkcountynv.gov.
All right, thank you, Ryan. Now we'll move over to our plans examination work group, and Terry Kozlowski is going to present some information.
Standard plan process for residential development is our building guide 186, which has not been updated yet. So if you're looking for fire sprinklers to be included in it, hopefully that will be done within the next couple of months. But your cover sheet should include the vicinity map and model numbers. Your code analysis should include the square footage of each floor, each story of your models, basements, patios, porches, garages, and balconies, the total square footage of any of the options that you have. You're also going to need to include fire sprinklers, and it should say yes. If they're deferred, then that should be noted on that cover sheet that the fire sprinklers are deferred. The other thing that you're going to need to upload for plan review is the approved utility plan. So we need to see the civil utility plan, and it needs to be approved by the Fire Prevention Division. We're also going to have the code year of design, energy compliance paths, and testing requirements for that path, and the codes that you've used for the design. Next. Building plan review only covers the step 1, and that's going to be comprised of architectural, mechanical, plumbing, electrical, and the energy codes. All of your plans should be stamped by a design professional or a contractor. All of your footprints need to match your architectural plans and include the options. And revisions to standard plans are not allowed unless the revision is for minor changes and is not lot specific. It does not add or reduce square footage, or it adds a new floor plan model. So mechanical plans, plumbing and electrical. Your plumbing plans, they're going to need to match the approved utility plan showing where the lateral comes into the home. If you have difficulty in doing that, you're going to need to get with fire prevention, because there might be a change to the water pressure for the house. So your plumbing plans going to need to show us where the lateral is. You're going to need to meet the requirements of the Uniform Plumbing Code, and you are also going to need to show how you meet the requirements for the International Energy Conservation Code. Mechanical plans are going to be the same. They need to meet the requirements of the Uniform Mechanical Code as well as the Energy Conservation Code. And electrical plans are going to need to show that they meet the requirements of the National Electrical Code and the International Energy Conservation Code. If at any time you have a house that is over 600 amps, you're going to need an engineer to design that set of plans for you. Next, let's see, what are we doing here? International Energy Conservation Code, that's a fun one for everyone. But there are 9 things that are required to be shown on your plans along with the building thermal envelope. So we mentioned the energy compliance path that you have to put in the code analysis, insulation materials, and their R values, we should see those on section cuts and details. Your fenestration factors should be on a table for windows. Same with the solar heat gain coefficients. Your mechanical system design criteria should also be on a table for us to review. You should be telling us what type of mechanical service you're doing, what your water heater is, and all of the equipment and system controls for the electrical. The air sealing details, duct sealing, and pipe insulation, we're going to find out if you actually got that right when they do the duct testing and blower door tests. Next. The end.
Thank you, Terry. And if
You're
you have any questions for building plans exam, we have the email address and phone number listed here. And I believe Ava's also putting it in the chat box so you guys can copy and paste if needed. So with that, we'll move along to fire prevention, and I will turn it over to Hal.
Hi, my name is Hal St. Clair. I'm with Clark County Fire Department. I'm a plans checker for the Fire Prevention Division. I'll be going over just some of the requirements for submitting the sprinkler standard plans process. You'll have the submitted option and also deferred. So if the home builder selects submitted, then fire prevention will be required to review at the time of with all the 43s, and will need to be approved in order for the 43s and 53s to be approved and issued to active status. When the sprinklers are deferred, the builder selects deferred option, then the fire prevention will not be required to review in order for the 43 and 53 to be approved. However, there will be a conditions of approval that holds up your framing and inspections. It cannot be scheduled until the revision is submitted for fire sprinkler plans and the calcs have been reviewed and approved. Okay. The submittal requirements are the same for whether it's deferred or submitted. The fire sprinkler plans need to be uploaded as fire sprinkler plans. The fire sprinkler data sheets need to be uploaded as sprinkler spec sheets. The hydraulic calculations need to be uploaded as hydraulic calculations. Any supporting documents such as civil plans, water model, hydrant flow test, MMR, etc., all should be uploaded as sprinkler spec sheets. If you guys don't upload it this way, what happens is it creates a added review time where we have to go back and correct all of it, and it's burdensome. So we just ask that you can really focus on those. If you have questions, just reach out to us on that. Okay, next. Sprinkler plans, whether they are submitted or deferred, must have the following information included. All options for each model type that will change the coverage of a sprinkler head, such as walls, closets, etc., shall be included on the sprinkler plans. Please be sure the floor plans for each model match the building plans. Deviations from building plans will not be accepted. Excel spreadsheet to be included on the sprinkler plans for review. Each remote area hydraulic calculation must have its own spreadsheet on plans for review. Site plan for all homes under scope of work must be to scale and large enough to verify underground piping lengths and match what is called out on the plans. Okay. Phased mapped projects. When projects will have a phased map and the fire sprinkler plans are submitted, all the following shall be included. If sprinkler plans are submitted and project is determined to have a phased map, the sprinkler plans shall include only the lots under the submitted phase. Footprints shall call out which book and page numbers the phase is approved for. A copy of the approved civil utility plans that include all lots under the submitted phase must be included. When projects have a phase map and the fire sprinkler plans are deferred, all the following shall be included. If sprinkler plans are deferred and project is determined to have a phase map, the sprinkler plans shall include only the lots under the submitted phase. Revised footprints will be required to be submitted with the sprinkler plans. It shall be submitted under the same revision number. Do not submit additional revisions just for the footprints. The footprints shall include any book and page numbers for which the phased final map is being approved. Lot numbers could also be noted. The submitting home builder must activate the following reviews for these types of revision: architecture, zoning, and fire. The home builder can add the fire sprinkler contractor as an additional contact if they want them to submit the revision and any corrections required during the review. Here's a couple examples of what we'd like to see. Like for the footprints, you could, for the phase map project, you have the notes on the side that just call out the book and page. Some of them, like I said, you could put we don't really want all the lots on there, especially if you have hundreds of lots. And then there's also an exhibit over here on the right hand side that having a whole site plan that actually calls out where the sites are may be required, and especially if it's a complex or large site, you know, it would be helpful for zoning. And so plans exam may ask you to include that also. Water flow alarms in lieu of the 10 PSI safety factor. This went into effect with the new ordinance, and it's going to carry forward even with the new adoption. When a home have a water flow alarm that activates the home smoke alarms, both the sprinkler plans and electrical plans must call this connection out. A 120 volt AC wire is to be ran from the water flow alarm to one of the smoke alarms in the house. Upon activation of the water flow, all smoke alarms within the home shall activate. Please do not provide a dedicated GFCI receptacle at the sprinkler riser location. This will not provide the necessary connection. When the fire sprinkler plans are deferred and require this connection, the electrical plans will be verified to have this connection called out. If the electrical plans were previously approved and did not show this connection, they will need to be revised to show this required connection. Electrical plans shall be uploaded with the fire sprinkler plans under the same revision. Do not upload as a new separate revision. Architectural plan review will be activated for the review. The plumbing plans, Terry spoke a little bit about this. The plumbing and the sprinkler plans will be verified to match location of the base of riser where the underground comes into the home. The plumbing installation must match location and size as shown on the approved plans. Any changes to the size and or location will negatively affect the sprinkler system, which may cause the system not to work. So, as-built plans for standard sprinkler plans will typically not be accepted unless it is for projects that have phased maps. Installation of the sprinkler system should match as close to the approved plans as possible. Small deviations may be acceptable. This will be determined at the time of inspection. Right. Any questions, please reach out to fppcq@clarkcountynv.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Hal.
Yep.
All right, now we will move on to zoning plans examination, and Maria Caseco will give us a little bit of information.
Thank you, Shannon. This is Maria Caseco, supervisor for zoning plans examination. Most of the staff, I think, prior presenter already mentioned. So sometimes you'll see like a repetition. However, it is going to be okay. Okay. Zoning will not approve any step 3s restricted by fire prevention. If fire prevention cannot approve all lots to be built with sprinklers within the approved tentative map, then a note must be added to the footprints to describe the restrictions. For example, lots 1 to 12 in final map, book and page 180-23, only to be permitted. That is an example when you are putting on your footprints. A revision should be submitted to the existing 43 number, which is the step 1 revising the note on the footprints to allow the other lots to be approved for permit. Footprints will be reviewed by fire prevention, architectural, and zoning plan reviewers. Revised footprints and recorded maps must be submitted as a revision to the subdivision plans. And I think this one also has been explained with the submittal, which is the step 2. Okay, next. This is an advisory. If you are revising a footprint to change setbacks, you might not want to include it with a revision to fire prevention sprinklers restrictions. Setback revisions may take longer to review. Maybe sometimes land use may be required and it could hold up fire sprinkler revised notes, delaying production, homes being permitted. So keep in mind when you are revising something, you are better off not including together with the sprinkler permit. Please note, whenever there is a fire sprinkler lot restriction not on any footprint, any revisions to the footprint will be reviewed by architectural, zoning, and fire prevention to make sure they don't have issues with the changes. So when you are uploading, make sure you selecting both architectural, zoning, and fire prevention. So if they don't have any problem, they will say not required or something like that. But you have to remember that they have to review it. Okay, thank you very much. And if you have questions, I think we have our email and the phone number somewhere at the end, right, Shannon? Oh yeah, there is. It was late. Okay, that is our communication. If you need us, please feel free to email or call us. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
Mhm.
All right, we have a little bit of information to share from our engineering work group, and I will turn it over to Ray.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hi, my name is Ray Jones. I'm a senior engineer in the engineering department. This is just a quick overview of the general engineering requirements for the residential standard plans. The engineering submittal shall be prepared and sealed by a Nevada registered design professional that conforms to the 2018 IBC and local amendments. This includes structural plans of each model type and available option, structural calculations for each model type and available option, truss and/or joist calculation packages for each model type and available option. Please note that deferred submittals are not allowed on structural plans for structural items, site-specific geotechnical report, and a previously approved CCBD grading plan. Please refer to the YouTube recording from October of 2024 for more information on these engineering requirements. And then if you have questions, here is our engineering email address, dsengineer@clarkcountynb.gov, and will also be available at the end of the presentation for more questions.
Thank you, Ray. Okay, so now you've got all of your approvals of all your plan review, and your permit is going to move into plan coordination, fee workup, and permit issuance. And I'm going to turn the presentation over to Emily so she can go over that information with you.
Thank you, Shannon. So once all the departments have reviewed and approved your plans, the standard plan will proceed to the plan coordination team. We will verify each 53 number to make sure it's been completed, to see if the fire sprinklers are required, calculate the fees, place the sewer conditions, and the QAA or third-party inspections if determined by the plans examiners. Model spec sheets are then generated for each 53 numbers so that the builders have all the information that is model specific, the structure data, the valuation, the total square footage, and all the fees. Once all the models have been completed, the plan coordination process is finalized by calculating the total hours spent on plan review. The customer will receive an email indicating the total amount due. And just keep in mind, we put this note that all step 3s are now subject to a new $90 fire sprinkler fee. All fees are paid through the customer's online Citizen Access Portal account using the 43 number only. Once the fees have been paid, the 43 number status changes from ready to issue to active. The contact will then have access to all the approved plans, the model spec sheets for the project. The 53 numbers will also change to active model. The fees for the 53 numbers will be applied to each model as I can't say that, as it's permitted per lot. So every time you go to place the active model on a lot, that's where the fees are paid, is per the actual placement of that permit on the lot. Sorry, thank you. For information on the impact fees listed on the model spec sheet numbers, the 53 numbers, visit our website, select Services, then Permit Issue, and finally click on Fee Calculator. The first page will list the development impact fees with links with more details for each of the fees. Once all the fees have been paid on the 43 number, and the step 2, you are now ready to submit for placement of the actual lots. You can find the instruction guide in the Citizen Access Portal area. Select Citizen Access Knowledge Base. How do I create a step 3 online? If you need any additional assistance or have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our permit issue team. Our email was listed there. Sorry. It's at eplanissuance@clarkcountynv.gov. Next slide. When submitting for step 3s, you must provide information for all the sub-permit contractors, including the new fire sprinkler subcontractor. For each sub-trade, you must enter the license number exactly as it appears on the Nevada State Contractor's license, but please make sure you include the 2 zeros in front of the license number. If you don't put the 2 zeros in there, it's not going to give you the contractor on the right-hand side. Contractors must be properly licensed to perform the specific type of work for which you are associating them to. Once a license number is validated, the subcontractor's business name will appear directly beside the license number in the system. That way you can tell it's done correctly. Thank you. That's where you move the slide to. Thank you, Shannon. So again, if you have any questions for our permit issue or plan coordination questions, please reach out to our ePlan issuance team at clarkcountynv.gov. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Okay, now you got your permits. Time to start construction. So we'll move along to inspections, and I'll turn it over to Matt Brewer.
Thanks, Shannon.
Yeah.
So the inspection team, what do? Well, we want to verify that you have a valid permit, that you have approved construction documents, that your QAA inspections are progressing along with your approved QAA agency. All the work complies with the approved plans and minimum code. And we want to verify that all the required inspections and conditions are met prior to a TCO or final building and a C of O issuance. Okay, next slide, please. So we have 5 supervising building inspectors with 5 different areas. We perform inspections Monday through Friday and even on Saturday for homeowners. We do have split shifts to cover all those 5 days. So Mondays and Fridays are a little bit busy for us. So just be aware. We will get your inspections done, but we are a little taxed on those days. Okay, next slide. Our contact list is published on the website. You can call, text, email any of the supervisors, any of the inspectors, even me. We will get you the information you need. If you have questions about inspections, sequence of inspections, or if you just want to talk about anything, just give us a call. No, not just anything. Okay, next slide, please. So some of the changes that are going to coincide with the new residential sprinkler requirements. A fire prevention inspection will be required for sprinklers prior to a framing inspection. All those sprinkler inspections will be performed by the Fire Prevention Bureau, not our field inspection staff, but we will make sure that those inspections are progressing and they are complete prior to framing, because we don't want to hold you up. It's not that we want to be mean. It's just we want to make sure these things are covered and it doesn't delay or cause you issues at the end. We also are going to be needing a fire prevention clearance prior to final building inspection and the issuance of a C of O. So just be aware, there's going to be new steps along the way that not everybody's going to be used to right away. But if you do any commercial work, then it's no change. But residential, this will be a little bit of a change. And then also just be aware the domestic water service line and the meter size might need to increase because of the fire sprinklers. This information should be found on your civil plans and the plumbing plans. So just be aware of that. Okay, next slide. And that's it. If you need anything, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call or email.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, so finally, I just want to give a little bit of a disclaimer here. It's just that the information that we presented to you today is current as of today, but it is subject to some changes. Nothing real drastic or major, except for we're always trying to improve our processes, just like incorporating fire sprinkler sub-permits into the residential standard plan process. And so always check our website for the most up-to-date information on our programs, or give us a call. Information that we've presented today obviously should last for a while, but if you're looking at this recording 2 years from now, there could be some changes. So maybe look for a more recent recording, or just check with our customer service team or one of us and just verify that to see if there's been any changes. And then on this last slide here, we just have some information and some links where you can access our website, the building administrative code, the YouTube channel link, fire prevention departments, and other information. Our customer service team, it's a live team. They're during our business hours, they're in the lobby. They're here to help customers in person. We have little workstations with computers and scanners to help you through any part of the process. So please don't hesitate to come and get that extra help if you need it. They can be reached at 455-8972, and their email address is packenter@clarkcountynv.gov. And with that, we're going to go ahead and stop the recording, and we're going to open it up for live question and answers for those that attended the workshop today. So Ava, if you could stop the recording, that would be great.